Welcome to episode 6. Nick, episode 6, up front. How you doing, man?
You're back like we never left. I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm doing
No.
good.
You ain't good. You came through this door pissed off.
All right.
What's going on?
Listen, I was trying to front. You know what I mean? I was trying to put on a good front, but I did walk through this door pissed off, man, because let me tell you something. Hey, Melbourne public transport system, you suck, man. You suck.
What happened?
Cars at the mechanics, so obviously I had to catch public transport system all the way in here today. Now,
all the way in? Where you coming from? What area?
I was coming from the north, right?
Okay.
And normally I leave the car at Clifton Hill Station, and it's just a short train ride. Like I catch a train to Flinders down to Richmond. We're good money.
Right.
I had to catch a tram today.
Oh, man.
Now, I don't know if you've ever caught a tram from that deep, but they make every stop, right? It's like 70, 80 stops from where I was.
What?
Deep,
So,
right?
like, put it in New York style so I really understand. Is it like last stop in Brooklyn, going to the top of the Bronx?
I was thinking about this on the way down here, right? So when I was seeing my girlfriend, and you know how deep she lived in the Bronx, right?
Right.
Door to door from where I lived in Astoria, it was an hour and 15 minutes.
Right.
You know how long it took me to get in here today?
How long?
2 hours and 20 minutes.
Damn!
Yeah.
You was
So now you know why
No
I was...
wonder you was pissed off coming to this store. Oh my God!
I was thinking about it on the way down here. I was like, "Yo, I could get to the Bronx quicker than I can to Richmond."
Oh my God! Oh man, no wonder you came through this door steaming, dude.
Yeah, but listen, man, we got our little drink here.
Cheers! Had to step it up today. Some quality champagne.
That looks familiar, man. Where have I seen this before?
At the baby shower. Yo, now let me tell you about this brand. I was lucky enough to get invited to the Australian Open by Ralph Lauren, right? And I'm in the marquee, and I'm like, damn, this champagne is good, but I don't know the brand, right? So I'm like, man, let me look this up. It won Champagne of the Year.
Okay.
Right? So I was like, okay, first of all, you're not going to be in Ralph Lauren's marquee and not be drinking quality champagne.
Right.
Just because you don't know it don't mean it's not official. So after that, like I've been drinking it a lot, and obviously it made it to the baby shower. So we had like 30 bottles that day.
Yeah, I saw it.
30.
He's good.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good
stuff.
Shout out to these guys.
No doubt. Man, I had
Yeah, what have you been up to? You had another
busy as usual. Yeah. Busy as usual. You know, went down to Queensland.
Yeah.
Went to Brisbane.
That's the second week in a row because you were there last week too.
I was in Gold Coast.
Gold Coast, okay.
Yeah, but I had to go to Brisbane. Foot Locker duties, new store open in the city centre.
You know, lit. For me, they're both the same, Gold Coast and Brisbane. Sorry, people in Queensland.
We need to take a trip down there. I'll show you the difference. Okay. No worries about that. Yeah, so I was on Foot Locker duties, had a meeting the day before the actual event with some big dogs from Foot Locker front office. Good conversations. But the meeting I want to talk to you about today is I had lunch the day of the meeting with a real estate group who started out as a client, but then it's starting to form into a relationship, a bond, like extended family.
Yeah.
So Place Real Estate Group, they're a huge real estate group, probably the biggest or one of the top two, I think, in Brisbane.
Yep.
And the number one group in the real estate group, the number one team, rather, Matthew Jabs, shout out to you. He reached out to me a couple of years ago and wanted me to speak to his team. And the team consisted of about, I was going to say about 6 or 7 people.
Sure. You
see Danny, Ross, Sophie, Jimmy, Lil Bronny we had. I nicknamed him Little Bronny.
Little Bronny.
He left, but he'll find his way back home. You know how it is sometimes. And it was a beautiful exchange, I would say, and it led to us being more than just like just
acquaintances.
And we speak maybe 4 times a month, And part of my role with their team is, making sure they stay mentally focused and locked in and tapping in into becoming the best they can be and performing at a high level.
Yeah.
So the relationship, it's blossomed into something bigger, and that's the lunch that I had down there the other day. I posted it.
Yeah, it was interesting because I saw you post it, right? And I was like, okay, Corey's doing his thing up there.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, and look, prior to us doing this show, I didn't really check DMs from people that I don't follow, right? Now, obviously, because of the show, people send in questions. I check a little bit more often. I see a message request. I'm like, who's this? Ross.
Right.
Old mate Ross.
Old mate Ross.
And he's like, and then I noticed that he followed me as well. He's like, yo, Nick, I'm with Corey. We love the show. You got to come up to Brisbane. And he left a voice message as well. And he had somebody else with him, and I don't know who the other guy was.
Yeah.
But the other guy was like, yo, Nick, you got to come up to Brisbane with Corey. We love the show. Blah, blah. And I was like, yo, shout out to Ross.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Ross, B. Like, shout out to the whole fam out there. One thing that I truly appreciate are people who they watch me and some people become more interested in who is this guy?
Yeah.
Who is he? You know what I mean? They resonate. So, everybody's not going to align with you, but the ones that do and appreciate you, you just appreciate them that much more. So shout out to the family out in Brisbane.
And speaking of appreciation, I want to touch on this as well. We got a nice DM from one of the listeners who said that he's really enjoying the show. I forgot his name, and I know you know his name right now. He said, I'm really enjoying the show. He said, I love the fact that you guys give shout-outs a lot during the show. And you constantly say shout out to him and shout out to him. And he actually designed this. He showed us like a
T-shirt.
A T-shirt that said, shout out to everyone.
No doubt.
We want to give a shout out to everyone and a shout out to him as well, because that was a dope T-shirt. I'm sure we're going to chuck an image of that on the screen for the people that are going to be watching this on YouTube. But that was a really dope thing to see.
Yeah, I'm just really appreciative, just as much as you are, of everybody, locking in and listening, because listening to a podcast, a lot of times people just want the 1 minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? More people will go to the 1 minute, the little quick sound bites that you put out and be good with that versus listening to the whole podcast. Yeah. Example, I'm coming from SEN Radio yesterday, and I'm walking. And a guy's like, Homicide? I'm like, yeah, how you doing? He was like, yo, man, I'm listening to the podcast. I'm 2 episodes back because, I'm with the kids and all of that, but I'm going to get to it. Love it. Yeah. And I was like, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm in Foot Locker the other day, and a female comes up to me and is like, Homicide, man, loving the podcast up front. It's so easy to listen to, loving the engagement and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, yo, thank you, man. And I'm just like, look, I know what it is, man. You know what I mean? And I just,
And it's good. Look, the more, the more
stay locked
feedback
in,
we get as well, right?
Keeps us going.
Keeps us going because, we like hearing that. We like providing a product and something that people are enjoying. And that'll keep us going too. So, but look, the vibes are immaculate.
The vibes are immaculate. Yo, did you get the quote right? I'm leaning on you with the skilled sailor and the water and the ship.
I'm pretty certain I got it right because I think I said at the very top of what we were talking about that smooth seas never made a skilled sailor.
Something like that.
Yeah, and I
think it's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we ever find out if we were?
I didn't even. I've been so busy. I haven't even. I just left it to you to be honest with you. I thought you was going.
I rarely make mistakes, Corey.
Okay, fair enough. That's why you here. Oh, man. So, listen, I made a mistake.
What was that?
Oh, man, listen, man. I got to... Okay. I lost my AirPods, right? This is a long story. It's a lot going on with this.
Yep.
I'm going to try to keep it under a minute. I don't think I can, but...
That's all right. We got time.
Here's what happened.
All right.
Over the last couple of years, right? AirPods came out, and it's like doing this these days is played out.
Yeah.
It's over for this.
You never see anyone doing that.
You don't see this no more. You do this, you corny.
Yeah.
That's it.
Look, to be honest, I even see some people with the old, wire
With
headphones,
the wires.
and I'm like, yo, come on, man.
Exactly.
Invest.
So that's even worse if
Yeah.
you see somebody doing this.
Yeah.
So right now I'm back to this,
Yeah.
which I'm not feeling myself in this space at the moment. I lose my AirPods in Brisbane.
Last week.
In the hotel, yeah. But I'm going to back it up because that's like the third pair of AirPods. The first pair went to Jamaica, when I was in Jamaica, rather, because, a lot of stuff you got to just ship down there because a lot of stuff just ain't down there and it's cheaper.
Those barrels, man.
There you
Those
go,
barrels.
right?
So the barrels.
Right. So what I did was when I was there, I gave my best friend, I'm like, yo, here, just keep mine. I'm going to go get me another pair.
Yeah.
When I went back to Australia, I went and copped the AirPod Pro, the latest one.
Yeah.
So here's where I got it from, right? Because, a lot of times you can find steals on Gumtree.
Facts.
Right? So I hear this Gumtree, blah, blah, blah. I technically haven't, up until this point, I've never purchased anything from Gumtree. But ads always pop up. So I'm like, all right, I know a lot of people that have. Let me see what's up.
Yeah.
AirPod Pro, brand new out the box. I was like, okay, how much? $170. I'm like, this is a steal. Hit the dude up. They hit me back. I was like, look, where you at? They was like, look, let's meet at High Point Mall.
In Brisbane or Gold Coast?
No, here, Melbourne.
Oh, High Point Centre, yeah.
High Point Mall. What's the big bougie one?
Chadston.
Not High Point.
Okay.
So I go to High Point.
Or Southland.
High Point.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's just say
Let's say High Point.
Let's just say
I
High
go
Point.
there. He's like, yo, meet me here. There's like a center, like a wellness, I guess a swimming center next to High Point. I'm there. Kid pulls up on a bike. I'm like,
first red flag.
I'm like, let me see the goods. Pulls out the goods out of his backpack. I'm like, this ain't New York. I think I could trust this situation. This is not New York. Wrapped up, the thing is still in the plastic. I'm like, all right, here. He's like, all right, thanks, man. Any issues, just hit me up. I said, I bet. Jump back in the car, shoot off. I'm like, yeah, I got the new joints. Just came up. Playing good. Music on. I'm like, all right, bet. I'm in the game. All right, cool. I called my best friend in Jamaica. I started getting on some Skype calls and Zoom calls, right? And it's like, yo, like are you with some windows? Because it's not clear.
Yeah. So
I'm like, can you hear me? They're like, not really. I'm like, all right, let me move right here. Let me, unattach it and then reattach it, see if it syncs correctly and you can hear me.
Yeah.
They're like, we hear you a little better. I'm like, all right, cool. So when I'm off the phone, obviously you play music. So music's playing right. It's loud. It's, whatever. I called my best friend back. He's like, yo, fam, why is it so windy where you at? I'm like, there's no wind blowing. What are you talking about? He's like, bro, I'm going to record this conversation, send it back to you so you can hear how it sounds. I was like, all right, bet. Yo, he sent it back. The shit was like,
damn.
I couldn't even, those old school walkie-talkies?
Yeah.
Where it's just mad static? That's what it sounded like.
Over and out.
Yeah, basically. I was like, yo, don't tell me this kid got me, yo. I said, don't tell me this kid got me.
Were they Apple and not Apple headphones?
Yo, dude. So here's what I did. I had to go to Sydney a couple days after for Foot Locker duties. I go to the Sydney Apple store. You go to the Sydney Apple store, you're going to sit in there for like an hour.
Yeah, it's like the Fifth Avenue one in New
York.
Yeah.
So I'm already tight because I'm like, these might not even be real. And I got to wait like an hour to hear the verdict. She comes back. She's like, they scan it and all of that or whatever. She's like, so where you get these from? Once she said that, now I got a front because it's like, I'm in the store. I can't be like a kid across the street. I was like, yo, it's a gift.
Yeah.
she was like, so where were they purchased? Like, what was the email connect? You know, Apple connected
they
all
know
kinds.
everything. They know everything.
Yeah, so she like, well, these say China. So these are not from us. I think they're fake. I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Left the store, threw them shits in the garbage, man. About a week or two later, my best friend laughed at me, of course. He always laughs at me. 2 weeks later, I went and bought. I went to JB Hi-Fi.
Get the real thing.
Bought a pair
Yeah.
AirPods.
Yeah.
Walk out. Hell yeah. These ain't bootleg. I'm good. You best believe I went to Gumtree and hit the kid back up.
Yeah.
And I went real polite. It's like, hey, how you doing, man? I think I want to get another pair. Can we meet again? No answer. Because if I saw his ass again, I probably wouldn't be right here right now. I probably wouldn't be right here. But I'm looking for him.
Yeah.
I'm looking for him. You ain't going to rob me.
Yeah.
So I went and bought another pair from JB Hi-Fi. Walked out, strutting my stuff, feeling good. Back in the game. Called my best friend. I said, yeah, got a new pair.
Yeah.
We good now. Went to Brisbane. Lost them.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
My biggest fear with AirPods, first of all, obviously, they cost. They're not $5 pair.
Yeah.
Of
couple $100 each.
Exactly, earphones or whatever you want to call them. I practiced for like a year with cheapies. Because exactly, there's no cord. They're cordless, right? And I'm clumsy. Like I don't, there's certain things I don't really take really good care of.
Yeah.
So I wanted to practice and get some cheapies. That way, if I lose them,
you don't care.
No worries, right? No worries. Same thing like glasses. I used to buy cheapies and glasses where you buy like the $10 ones. So, you might be out and about. People, let me see your glasses and all of that.
And
you go through that and they're gone. So when you have an expensive pair of frames, you know what not to do and how to act when you have them on, right? So I'm really pissed off.
Yeah.
I'm pissed off.
Listen, Gumtree's the wild, wild west, right? Because
clearly,
I've never.
I'm looking for it. It was a kid this kid had to be like 16, 17.
I've never bought anything.
He better not
Gumtree.
reply to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to fake buy something, meet up, and it's on.
Yeah.
Straight up.
I've never bought anything off Gumtree, right? Because there's just too many weirdos on there for me. But I've when I'm trying
because it's Craigslist in America.
That's right. It's the exact same thing.
So I'm like, yo, this got to be safe.
But sometimes when I try sell, when I'm trying to unload sneakers, I'm trying to downsize my collection.
Yeah.
At least Gumtree, because you don't pay fees like eBay and all that sort of stuff. So you're like, all right, I can get an extra $30, $40. So I put some stuff up on Gumtree, and I always try to do it like for me to send it out only, right? But people don't want to pay shipping. And they're like, I'll come pick it up. And I'm like, they're like, what's your address? I'm like, you're not coming to my house. I'll meet you. I'll meet you somewhere. You know what I mean? But I always have that fear. I always say public place, right? Always a public place. I've been in New York too long, man. I always say public place. And then I'm holding these sneakers, right? And look, I've only done it a handful of times. But you hand them over and I'm like, trying to get the money at the same time. Because then I'm like, if this guy tries to run off, I'm going to have to try trip him or something.
Awkward exchange.
Yes, man, it's weird. It's the Wild Wild West on Gumtree, man. All right, Corey, we are back. It is time for the Corey story. You've always got something interesting to say, interesting stories to tell, and it's also the delivery, the way you tell them as well. Like some of my friends are hitting me up. They're like, yo, man, Corey's a storyteller. I said, yeah, he sure is, man. What do you got for us this week?
Man, a lot of times when people see the finished product today, they only look at you as that shiny penny that you are today. They don't know the days when you had absolutely nothing.
Yeah, less than nothing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want to strip it all the way back. Forget the vintage Cartier frames. Forget the watch. Forget, all this apparel. Forget everything you see me as today. I'm stripping this thing all the way back.
To the beginning.
Right? I graduate college. This ain't a street ball story. This is... After that summer of street ball, I'm looking for anything because the last thing that I want to do is go back home and be inside my mother's house. You know, after I graduated high school, I'm in college. Yeah. Been living alone, basically, you know, a roommate, but like, I'm grown now. I'm somewhat of an adult. I'm a young adult trying to jumpstart a career from absolutely nothing. So when it's like that and you have really no options, you'll take anything for the sake of motion. Yeah. Slow motion is better than no motion.
That's right.
There was 2 coaches in New York City that were legendary in summertime when it came to tournaments. God bless the dead, Sid Jones, Brooklyn United, and James Ryan, my man. And love them both. They helped me jumpstart something that wasn't even there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Somewhat of a career that wasn't even there. I went to them and I said, look, man, I need help. And they said to me, look, we got a job for you, but it ain't basketball. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, especially when I need a job in basketball. Yeah. But whatever you can help me with, I'm down.
Could you be a stepping stone to...
Slow motion better than no motion, right. And I don't want to be in my mother's house because that's no motion. Yep. They said, all right, $1,900 a month, $500 cash, $1,400 check sent home. The job was a New York National, okay, a.k.a. a Washington General.
Okay.
Which is the team that was on tour with the Harlem Globetrotters that lost every day.
Except for once.
Every game. Except for once, maybe 30, 40 years ago. And this thing, I didn't care. But anybody that knows me knows how optimistic I am and how my energy's like me against the world. And we can achieve anything. Nothing's going to stop me from getting anything I want in life. Yep. Nothing, right? It might take a while, but I'm getting there. First game on tour with the Globetrotters as a national, because it's a Globetrotter tour.
What year are we talking now?
2000 and day after Christmas. December 26, 2000.
Gotcha.
I was lucky because there's different tours, right? You got the East Coast tour, you got the West Coast tour, you got the Midwest tour, then you got the international tour, right? So there's different Globetrotters on different teams. I, a young kid from New York, got on the West Coast tour, which was the best to me because clearly I'd been on the East Coast. Went to college in the Midwest, went to school down south. I've never hit the West Coast for real. So with this tour, we played all in the NBA arenas, and we played every day in a different city and state. We literally were rock stars. If you do not know, the Globetrotters are legit rock stars.
Yeah. Facts.
The most famous basketball team in the world. But when we played against them, we weren't playing to lose. It's scripted. Like, it's not real basketball. Yeah. So maybe the first quarter, they'll start out. You got to do the math. You got to do the whole, you know, you got to. Yo, it's a role I had to play.
It's like a WWE type.
It's scripted. Yeah. But on our end, we're trying to score every time. Yeah. But they have a show where when it's time to do the show, you got to get in character. Yeah. Right? So my thing was, I walk in the locker room. I'm just trying to give you all that. I walk into the locker room the first day. This shit looked like a scene out of the Bad News Bears. Out of what's the movie with Charlie Sheen when he was the baseball? Major League.
Major League, yeah.
Yo, you got one guy, he's a model, so he's just doing abs. Swear to God. Name was Ben, doing abs the whole time. I'm like, what is he doing? Then you got another guy who's like the coach player, so he think he has all the authority. Big dude, just walking around like trying to put his authority on people because he's a player coach. Yeah, right. Then you got another guy just like, yo, listen, man, like, it is what it is. Like, I'm here for whatever.
Yeah.
Then you got another guy who's like really not even caring what's going on. Yeah. Then you got me walking in. Fellas, the Globetrotters. We're about to bust they ass today. They don't know. I'm here. I'm going to give y'all all the confidence that I got. We're going to walk out here. We're going to give them the business.
We're hooping.
By the end of that game, I was like, we can't win. Shit. We can't win. I was like, dude, we cannot win.
Yeah.
On our best day, we can't win.
Yeah.
You can't win.
Yeah.
And I had to take what I took away, because I've always found a way. I've always found a way to look at the good in any situation.
Yeah.
And the good I took away from that was I wasn't home. I'm in some kind of motion. I just saw the whole West Coast and I toured.
Yeah.
And you want to know what my favorite pickup line was? I was like,
here we go.
I'm fresh out of school.
Here we go. These are the best part of the story right
here. I'm out here. I'm doing my thing. I'm trying to figure my young life out. So I'm like, to take away from the fact that this ain't basketball,
yeah,
I got to make this thing fun for me.
Yeah.
So, what we do is we go to the mall, and me and my roommate, because we had roommates back then, and it's like, look, all right, we're going to hang out, but tonight it's your turn to make sure we ain't making no money.
Yeah.
Right? We only got $500 cash. Yeah. The $1,400 is going on the check to your home address. We on the road. So I'm like, listen, it's your job tonight to make sure we get a ride home. Globetrotters and the Nationals travel different. They in 5-star hotels.
Yeah.
We in Motel 6s.
Yeah.
That's 2-star. Two different things.
Yeah.
So, motherfuckers had to get creative and make that $500 stretch. It had to make it stretch, right?
Yeah.
So, you might be in the club. I'm like, yo, listen, I don't care what she look like. If that's our ride back, it's on you tonight to make it happen.
You got to take one for the team.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up. So it got to a point where it was like, going to the mall. We got tickets to give to the game. So I'm just like, hey, how you doing? This is young Corey. We ain't got no game for real.
Yeah.
I'm just learning these things. I'm not Corey today. Remember, it's not the shiny penny.
Also,
it's this guy fresh out of college.
Can I just add quick? Yeah. Philly, if you're listening, this was obviously 20 years ago.
No, I'll be telling all these stories,
okay.
yo. So I'm just like, hey, how you doing? My name is Corey, and I'm not from here. Obviously, the New York accent is an asset.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Just like the Aussie accent abroad is an asset.
Served me well in New York.
No doubt. All the people be like, let me hear you talk. Keep talking.
Yeah, I was like, crikey. Yeah.
So, I'm just like, look, I'm on tour with the Globetrotters. I never said I was a Globetrotter.
No.
I said I'm on tour with them.
No lies told.
Correct? No lies told. I said, look, I got some tickets if you want to go to the game. Just let's connect later.
Yeah.
They like, bet, good looking. Here's the tickets. Here's my math. Hit me up. We go from there. Who doesn't love a Globetrotter show?
No one.
I love a Globetrotter show till this day. That's entertainment. You go there, you have a good time. You know what I mean? You might link up with shorty after. You know what I mean? Or not. But either way, that's an option. Or as when the game is done, you meet people after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yo, where's the after party at? Where's the spot at? Yo, look, all right, come on, let's connect. And you go from there. And that's what made the tour that much more fun. We was literally touring like rock stars, yo.
Yeah.
Promise you, man. That was one of the fun times in my life. Like we was just young, wild, and free. You know what I mean? Just kicking it, man. And kid from New York, seeing the whole West Coast. It was so dope. It was dope as hell, man.
Something like that, it's like it's more about the opportunity than the actual paycheck, because like you said, 1,400's already going home. You got 500 to cash to live.
And mind you, obviously, we get breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the hotels and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's like one of the entry level job, right? Straight out of college. You're not
exactly.
Going to start earning 100K straight out of college.
Not at all.
Unless you're like
unless you go to MIT or Yale or Oxford or Harvard or one of these schools.
So, it's an entry-level job, but, it's like you said, people see the finished product, but they don't see everything that came before that.
They don't know.
All right, Corey.
That's the story.
Always a blast.
Shout out to the Globetrotters. Shout out to the Washington Generals. Shout out to the New York Nationals. They came, they come every year here. And I haven't gone the last couple of years because I haven't been here when they came. I was on vacation back home. But I think maybe like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I went and watched the game in Margaret Court, and I sat there, and I was just like, you have come so far.
Yeah.
Like, I look at it like growth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what it is.
One thing about me, I am always grateful to talk about the past.
Yeah.
Because look at me today.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
You got to know where you came from to appreciate where you are today.
It's all about your vision for who you believe you are, who you're going to be, and execute that.
Yeah.
Because I could have easily gave up and be like, man, this is some bullshit. I had a up mentality about it. This ain't this. I'm better than this. And da-da-da-da. And the experience would have been nothing. I wouldn't end up nowhere.
You wouldn't have been living the life that you'd worked to live, basically.
You know what I mean? Like, we here on Up Front sipping great champagne. It's champagne of the year.
It's very good.
2022.
It is very good.
This is champagne of the year 2022. You know what I mean? And it's a name that the masses may not know, but it's quality.
But if you know, you know.
This is my point, but that's the growth from I wouldn't have noticed this in 2000.
Right.
I didn't even have that eye or palate.
Yeah.
Growth in all aspects of the word growth. Shout out to the Globetrotters, yo. Shout out to the Nationals.
Slow motion is better than no motion.
Amen to that.
Always a blast hearing these stories, man.
I had some ill stories coming up with, but I think today that was the best one to come up with.
Well, we've got plenty more time to get these stories out of the way. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back with some listener questions.
Bet.
All right, Corey, we are back with my favorite segment of the show because we get to answer some of the listeners' and viewers' questions. And
shout out to the listeners.
Yeah, as always.
Appreciate you all. Every time we do the call out, you hit us with questions. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Absolutely. You did the call out yesterday, and we've got a bunch of great questions here. We're going to start out with some quick hitters, and then we're going to finish off with a couple more. They're going to be a little bit more in depth, but the first one here, the first quick hitter comes from Wayne Sinclair. Wayne wants to know, can Melbourne United still make the playoffs?
No. 12 losses. This league, you know the vibes, man. It ain't a cupcake league. Ain't no coming back.
There you go.
Next question.
It's as simple as that. Next quick hitter comes from Vic Chand. I hope I said your name right.
Shout out to Vic.
Vic wants to know, how much money did you make at Holcomb Rucker Park?
Damn. That's a good question, but what I would say is this. The summers when I played funded my whole summer vacations. So I made, double-digit thousands in the double-digit. Next question.
Not bad, actually, for
the summer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course not.
Absolutely. Next question comes from Chuck de Guzman. And Chuck wants to know, what are your thoughts on the NBL All Star Game or weekend returning?
That's beautiful. I think that an NBL All Star, what they need to do is do a lot of the stuff in 2 days, not 3 days. Do it in 2 days.
Yep.
Right? So you have everything that the NBA would do on Friday and Saturday in one day, and then the game the next day.
Yeah.
Just do it Saturday, Sunday.
And
just copy the same thing that they do.
I want to add something real quick to that as well. I'd love to see like a North versus South or East versus West. I'm not a big fan of Australians versus imports.
I integrate them all, man.
Yeah. I would like to see it sort of broken up into conferences or, whatever.
Yeah, because I remember when the last All-Star game was, I believe, when I played. right?
2012, 2013,
something like that.
Yeah.
2009 or 8. Brian Gorgian picked the national team and was running plays. I was like, dude, this is an All-Star game.
Yeah.
He was running plays for it was the whole national team,
Yeah.
basically outside of the NBA players. Like, dude, we're gonna integrate it.
Yeah.
We're not separating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let the two best teams, their captains or the two best players rocking at that moment, be captains and pick players.
Yeah, I'm with
Done.
that. Absolutely. Next question comes from Moses Vallejo.
Shout out to Moses.
I hope I got that one right.
BX
as well.
all day.
Yeah, and
You have Moses Vallejo.
And he wants to know, when do I get to see you suit up again? He says, I don't care if it's a exhibition game. He goes, and I'll put it on the record. He wants to know also, when can you get a couple of the Bronx guys to come to Australia? I think Moses is trying to audition for a gig. Come down to Australia, Moses.
Man, I'll
Are we
never
gonna see
play again.
No, you're done.
I'll never play again. The way that I play this game, when I played, it was with reckless abandonment. My mentality was, I'll kill for this game. I'll do whatever it took. Whatever it took. And I was one of the lucky ones where I positioned myself to where I could leave the game. The game didn't leave me. Couldn't leave me. Right? So I had a conversation with her meaning basketball, the love of my life, the only woman that I've been obsessed with, right? My whole life. And I said to her, it's time for me to leave you. You know I got to leave you. That's it. And you know what she said to me? Motherfucker, don't look back. And I said, I know. I'm out.
Leave on top and then move on to what's next.
Let me explain something to you about this game, regardless of what ball it is. She's going to leave you.
Yep.
She's going to leave you for every insecurity you have that only you know. They're going to be younger, stronger, faster, quicker, more athletic, more vibrant, more marketable. And you know what we old people do when you're at the tail end? Not we. I escaped. We hold on way longer. Yeah. You know why? Yeah. There's no plan. Yeah. There wasn't a plan in play for you to tell her what I told her. Yeah. So you hoping maybe one more year I could figure it out. And you know what she does? She chews you up and she spits you out. Yep. And that's when depression kicks in, mental health kicks in, anxiety kicks in, suicidal thoughts kick in. You don't know what to do with yourself because that light is off. Players need to know when it's your time to exit. That's why I'll never touch her again. I'd hurt myself right now. Yeah. I only know how to play one way. I haven't played, like I retired, and then the next year I started working here. So I don't even know how to play any other way. I'm not a shooter. Shooters can go corner to corner and just spot up. My style is Russell Westbrook. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. I'm blowing something out 100%. Yep. And then with the name, the nickname, and the homicide shit, guys was coming at me. I was them.
You would have to
live
up to that.
You understand? It's like Benny Blanco and Carlito's way. I'm Carlito's way. Benny Blanco's coming for me. Yeah. I'm done. Leave her alone.
Yeah. There you have it. All right. Thank you for that question, Moses. All right. We've got 3 here, actually, from Nay. All good questions. That's why we had to include them. We're going to start out with the first one here. Nay wants to know, are you planning on getting Australian citizenship?
I am. I'm in the process right now. We filing for permanent residency. So probably about 6 to 10 months, we official.
Aussie Homicide on the way.
Oi, oi, oi.
If I hear you doing that,
I'm doing it. Let me tell you something. As soon as I get in this official, I'm going to have on like a cricket. Nope. You know what I'm going to get? I'm going to get the short set that got like the Aussie flags all over that shit. You know when it's like Australian Day? They coming out with the vibes. Yeah. I'm going to have that short set on. Then I'm going to keep the Cardis on. I was going to go too far. I was going to say I'm going to get shades with like the Aussie flags here. I got to keep the Cardis on. But that'll be enough. Get some Aussie socks. Be like, yo, Darren, film this. I'm doing it. I'm just telling you right now, I'm doing it.
Bruv.
That's it.
If you turn up to a filming of Upfront wearing that, I'm walking off set.
Yo, as a matter of fact, the guest is gonna be like the Uber, the ultra Aussie. I'm gonna get the ultra, the most Aussiest guy I know. I might go get him from Queensland with like an 8-pack of like 4X Gold.
Yeah, I'm not.
4X, they don't even sell in Victoria.
For a reason.
Nah, shout out to 4X, man. 4X, listen, you welcome on this table. Don't listen to Nick, you welcome on this table.
Listen.
Go ahead.
If you get that guest to come on the show, it's just going to be you two that day. I'm taking an RDO. Next question we've got from Nay. He wants to know, who is your favorite teammate of all time? I guess I count as a teammate too, so maybe put me in the running.
My favorite teammate of all time, Galen Young, my brother. God bless the dead, man. I love you. I miss you. And he was the guy. I don't listen to a lot of people. I'm stubborn as hell. I get that from my mother, and she gets it from her father, which is my grandfather, right? Stubborn as hell. So he was the guy. I'll tell you, me and Gleason used to bump heads. This shit was Larry Brown AI.
Yeah.
Not even trying to mimic them, but, And Galen used to be like, motherfucker, come on. I'm like, all right, man. Trevor used to be like, Galen. Like, it was like the parent, the first son, and the little son. Yeah. It was like, Galen, go deal with your brother, because I can't right now. You know what I mean? And Galen had me, man. Like, that was my brother, man. I miss you, man. That was my guy. And my favorite local, I'm going to just keep it Aussie. Yeah. Like, my favorite local.
Nick Medalinos.
My favorite local teammate, I was with the Ville 3 years, right? I think I'm going to say, he's actually, without him knowing, really? Let me tell you why. Y'all don't know. Well, probably y'all do know. This motherfucker's a comedian.
Yeah.
And he was a fucking shooter, man.
Yeah,
like,
he definitely was.
Yo, dude,
he definitely was.
Yo, I think there's a lot of big games that I had in the NBL, but there's none bigger than that elimination game against Perth. And the format is top 6, like it is right now. So that's why we don't know what's going to happen. Even though the top 6 to me is set, we don't know who's going to beat who, because this league is so good. Anybody could beat anybody on the road.
Yeah.
I'm a living testimony of that. And without John really hitting those 10 threes that set the record, and Cotton tied it with 10 against Cairns maybe 2 years ago, we're not there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that he was a leader. He was a comedian. But he was an easygoing guy. He was easy to talk to, and he was reliable.
Yeah, shout out to John.
That was my favorite. Shout out to John favorite local.
Next question.
Without him even knowing it.
Next question from Nay. He says, talk about having to say no to people. For example, family and friends.
That's the hardest thing to do. When you elevating and, things are changing in your life for the better, a lot of people want to come for the ride, and nobody's putting in the work. And everybody thinks that they're deserving of whatever you're receiving. And hands are out. And you have to differentiate who gets what. But you have to also be in a position to even be able to do that. Yeah. See, a lot of times good people don't keep what they have or elevate in life because they're always giving. You get a little piece of the pie and everybody hands her out, and you give piece away. There's nothing left. Yeah. So what about you? What about you? It's okay to say no, or if you're going to give with a contract. And you know what you should give and say without not want nothing in return. You know what you should say? And I learned this from an OG. He said, if I give you this, you can never ask me for nothing ever again.
Yeah, fair enough. Yep.
That kills that. That way, they take it, they know. they could never ask again.
Yeah.
And that eliminates that. You never hear from them again after that as far as asking for finance.
Yeah, facts.
That's what they're going to ask for, if anything, finance.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody can't go, man. When there's higher levels to reach, you got to dig deep. You got to dig deep. And when it's time to dig deep like that, more times than not, you by yourself doing it. You got to do this heavy lifting. You know, you can't walk into a gym and get the beach body by just being in there.
That's right.
You got to lift some heavy weights. And that's the process. And the process, there's not a lot of people with you. There's lonely nights. There's lonely days.
You wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
Yo, dude, like, this shit is for real, you know? And, again, people might look at me and see me, oh, you know, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. There's a lot of work that has been put in.
Absolutely.
And I'm one of those people, if you wasn't with me putting in this work, don't look at me and think all of a sudden you're supposed to be with me. And there's a lot of people that can't be with me while I'm putting in this work, but you don't have to physically be with me. We got a smartphone.
Yeah.
You can call me. You can text me. You can just tell me, yo, man, I see you. Just know I'm thinking about you. That means a lot. You know what I'm saying? On the road to transformation, shit ain't easy.
Yeah.
I might make it look easy, but it's a lot of work that I put in. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Like, you got to put your foot down. I ain't going back. I mean, I'm so far from, I'm not going back.
Yeah.
But, like, that's just a mentality that I always keep with me for me to never, ever, ever get complacent. You know what I'm saying?
All right, last question, Corey, and I know you're going to go a little bit more in depth with this one here because it's a great question from Kimberly Damon. Kimberly wants to know, with Alimoe famously being known as a playground legend and passing away so suddenly, do you think the actuality or reality of the playground legend has also died?
First of all, shout out to Harlem. This is one of the many legends Uptown has birthed. He's a street ball icon. He's a street ball legend. A legend doesn't even give him his just due. Alimoe, man. Dude, you talk about talent. You talk about natural talent, raw talent. One of the best hoopers to ever do it coming out of New York City. And he was sick. He died. He don't quote me on this, but I believe he was diabetic. And, man, he was a clown. He was funny as hell. You want jokes? He had a beautiful smile. Man, he was a cool brother, man. He was so talented, man. Menacing. Shout out to Ron Carlos. I was talking about on the podcast a couple episodes ago about Shamgard, talking to him about how proud Ron Carlos would have been of all of us. You know, shout out to Zig, Alimoe, Sham. I played for Ron Carlos, and he gave me a shot at 14 to play. And that's how I came to really, like, be around them and be in the same gyms and play with and against. Alimoe, man, his legend is so big that on his birthday, they do Alimoe Day. I'm just never home to part. That would be a game I'd play in.
Yeah.
I don't play ball. I don't touch. Anybody know me? I don't touch basketballs. I don't play. I would play in that celebrity game if I was ever home. That's how much respect I have for him, what he's done for the game, and what he means to New York City basketball, street ball, playground ball, grassroots ball.
Yeah.
He's an international legend. Alimoe, a.k.a. the Black Widow.
Yep.
Shout out to him, bro.
Shout out to Alimoe.
The street ball legend is never dead because it's up to the legends that are alive to keep their name alive. And that's what they do happily for him.
Yeah, I remember even years ago you were talking to me about, Alimoe and how nice his game was. And obviously I know who he is and I've heard of him and all that sort of stuff. But I feel like the way the NBA has gone, right, like these days where it's like positionless, he would have been perfect for something like that. 20
years too early. It's 2020, 23
He could put the ball
right
on
now.
the floor.
There's nothing he could not have done.
Yeah.
Like, he was 6'8", handle silky. His handle silk. His handle is
kind of like Lamar Odom in a way.
Basically.
Yeah.
But it was just that, a lot of times the streets are the way. It was easy. Like, when you're young and you are in, like, Harlem is like Hollywood in New York. So if you from Harlem and you got game young, everybody's taking you a star. It don't get no better than Harlem in New York.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. You coming uptown to Harlem. You coming uptown to Harlem. How do I know about Harlem so well? I went to Rice High School.
In Harlem.
In Harlem. Kid from the Bronx. They call me, he a Bronx dude with Harlem swagger. That's what they say about me.
Yeah.
You get me? So at the end of the day, I know the influence Harlem has. Crazy. Give you another story. Let's do another story in this. We're going to end it from here.
Let's go.
Let me tell you the creativity of black culture. Dapper Dan.
Shout out to Dapper Dan.
Dapper Dan is an icon, a global icon. African immigrant, came to New York, lived in Harlem, and started getting the pieces of Gucci and Louis. He started making these pieces that they weren't even using and coming up with these patterns. And all the drug dealers and the money getters in America, let alone New York City, started going to him to tailor make their clothes, their tire covers on the back of their Jeeps. He would customize it all. The seats in their cars, he would customize all of that. MCM, Gucci, Louis. He made those fabrics. So when you see the Louis Vuitton bags, the LV all over the print, they got them from him.
Yeah.
The GG everywhere, they got them from him. And then they put a lawsuit and forced him underground because they're like, wait a minute, who is this guy and how is he getting all this money off of the brand that we do?
Yeah.
But we didn't create these styles and patterns. He's from Harlem, right? And then you know what happened after that? They brought those patterns back, started doing runway with it. The hip-hop community got behind it because it's like, yo, we know this.
We mess with this.
And then you know what happened? The hip-hop community went crazy and said, y'all stole Dapper Dan's style and culture.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is who created it. And guess what happened after that? Gucci signs him to a multi-year deal, gives him a fashion house in Harlem, and gives him a crazy space and deal. And that's his whole fashion boutique.
Yeah.
That's the power of hip-hop culture. And that's the power of Harlem.
Facts.
We're going to end up front on that note. Shout out to Harlem.
We'll be back next week.